Welcome back, socialites, and if you're new, I'm Ariel. I do mainly beauty videos, fragrance, and a little bit of lifestyle. So today's video is going to be my November makeup tray. Y'all, 2 more months in the year. Like, I genuinely feel like time is moving at a different rate. Like, what happened to the year? This was a very eventful year, by the way. Like, wow. In the monthly makeup tray, if you're not familiar with it, I sort of talk about the products that I want to be more intentional about using for the month. So let's jump right into it. First up is my favorite foundation, y'all, top 3, Haus Labs. Now, I wore this all during the month of October as well. For the most part, this is what you guys saw me wear. Even when I wasn't filming, this is what I wore, but I didn't do a tray. So we're going to carry this on over, and I'll be wearing this for the most part during the month of November. This is going to give you that medium buildable coverage. You can get full coverage out of it. In case you're wondering what shade I wear, y'all probably heard me say that a million times. I'm 385 medium neutral. It's not perfect, but once I run out of this, I think they have a shade that's even better for me because they have about 50 shades in this foundation. So you should be able to find your shade or something really close if you're interested. Next foundation is one that I don't wear very often, and I only pull for this like during fall, winter. This is from Westman Atelier. This is their foundation stick. This is another one that's like medium buildable coverage, and it gives me the most flawless finish. I get a long wear out of this as well, similar to Haus Labs, but not as long as Haus Labs. Haus Labs gives me all day long without having a blot, even without a primer. This about 8 to 10 hours, and then I maybe need to touch up a little bit, but not very much. With that being said, this would be great for like dry skin, normal skin, or oily skin, but be sure to wear your favorite primer with it. You still need to prime with this one, I would say. I have to anyway. So if you have oily skin, definitely put your best oil controlling primer, even though it's decent wear. So moving on to one that I think I've only worn once. Now this I've reserved for Affordable Friday. This is from NYX. It's the Buttermilk Glazed Soft Skin Tint. Now this one's in the shade Toffee Butter, and if I can remember, the shade worked out really well. I can't give you guys any like true specs on it, and that's really why it's on the tray, because I need to learn this product a little bit more, to be honest. And the last sort of complexion product that I have is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint. This is technically a foundation stick, but when they say sheer glow, I mean, it's really sheer, and it almost looks like a highlighter to me. When I wore it a couple times, like that sheen, I really wouldn't wear this by itself as a foundation. And if you have oily skin, you could definitely forget about this one. So I wanted to play around with this, using it in different ways. I'm probably going to wear it as like a base with the foundations that we already talked about. And this one's in the shade Tan Medium. Next up is concealers. I put the Hourglass concealers on the tray for this month. Usually in my concealers, I prefer to have 2 shades, a deeper one and a lighter one for the inner corner. So I have these in the shade Maple, which is the deepest shade, and Flax is a little bit lighter for the inner corner. This is straight up full coverage goodness, okay? Full coverage, very smooth, minimal creasing, very long lasting. The coverage is amazing. So even if you wanted to get your skin tone just to like spot correct, this would be a good one for that. And it gives like soft matte type of finish to it. A little bit goes a long way as well. I don't use it enough. I usually grab for like my top 2 usually. And then I put the Kofi concealer on here. This one's in the shade Glossy Guava, and this is on the tray because I don't wear it enough. I remember liking it, but I don't wear it too often. So that's why this one's on the tray. And if I can remember, it's a little bit more hydrating than the Hourglass one. Moving on to one sort of contour bronzer product that I put on here. This is the liquid bronzer, the Dew Bronze from Say. It's in the shade Stinson. When I first got this, y'all, was wearing it nonstop. So this is basically on the tray just to get use out of it. It's like a cream bronzer, but it has a little bit of a glow to it, even when you set it through powder, which is really pretty and very unique, especially if you like to add a little bit of glow to your complexion. Say in general, I typically like their products, so we're getting use out of her this month. And then I have one sort of like highlight. It's like a, you know what? It sort of reminds me of, but not as like brightening glowy as the Charlotte Tilbury stick. This is from Chanel. It's the Solar Glow Balm. So it's like a glowy balm, super golden. So this one is going to be really sort of like bronzy, glowy. I like to put this underneath powder and on top of powder, like with my fingers. And it just gives you a nice, beautiful, like subtle glow. You know, Chanel always gives like subtle and very much understated. Now I do have a palette, like a highlighter palette on the tray, and this I love. This is like one of my favorite products just in general. This is from Dior. This is the Backstage Universal palette from Dior. Very beautiful. I'm actually wearing it on my skin today. So that beautiful sort of pink radiance you see is from the pink shade in here. So it gives you a beautiful sheen to it, and it just looks and feels so luxe. It doesn't have like glittery chunks of particles. It's just very smooth and soft and beautiful. I was blown away the very first time I tried this because I thought it was going to give like bright, stark highlight. It's just perfect. It's the right amount of coverage, the right amount of sheen without being overdone, in my opinion. They recently launched a deeper one in this. So if you're darker than me and you felt like, oh, this is pretty, but I would love for it to be a little deeper, they now have it, and I need it. That's most definitely on my wish list. But this right here, if you're my skin tone, a little darker than me and even lighter than me, I think you could actually be a lot darker than me and get away with this and use these three as highlights. I do have one loose powder on the tray, and this one's for Affordable Fridays. This is from Revolution. It's a loose powder, and it's a 2-in-1 situation. So this powder has a loose powder on one side of the component, and then you open another side, which is the top, and it's actually a pressed powder. So I've worn it a couple times, and it's nice. I thought it was going to give like chalky, and it didn't. I did put 3 powder bronzers on the tray, and honestly, one of these might be too much, y'all, to be honest. I don't know. But I put the RMS powder on here because I need to try this again. I've only tried it once and I thought it was okay. I felt like the shade that they ran out of during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, I would like more. This is Tan Lines from RMS. The name of the shade is Tan Lines, and it's their powder bronzer. And this is what it looks like. I wouldn't wear this as like a highlighter bronzer. This would be like a bronzer to warm up the skin. It was just so light and understated. I want to play around with this a little bit more in November. Now, the next two aren't like the glowy bronzers. They're like the contour bronzers, if you get what I mean. So Haus Labs, this is one of my favorite bronzers in the shade Acacia Ember. Beautiful. I'm actually wearing it today. I did a live stream of this makeup look and I pulled this out. This is the perfect shade for me. It's not too dark. It's not too light. It's not too warm like some powder bronzers can be. The formula is very buttery and it blends smooth. Love this. And last one is from Hung Van Gogh, and this is like the newest bronzer to my collection. So Hung Van Gogh, this one's in the shade Hard Working, and this one is even more subtle than the one from Haus Labs, and it's a little warmer in color than the one in Haus Labs, but it's really pretty nonetheless. I enjoy this, and it's really smooth. I have one powder blush on the tray, and it's also from Hung Van Gogh, and this one's in the shade Possibilities, like a beautiful orangey shade. They do have a bright orangey shade. This one is like the softer, more subtle orangey shade, which looks really great on my skin tone. Again, it's a very smooth formula. I've worn it a couple times already, and I think it's really pretty. I could also use it as like a transition blush for my skin tone, like to fade out any other blushes that may be like really strong. So nice. And then I have 2 eyeshadow palettes. So one is from Natasha Denona, and y'all, out of all of these palettes that I've gotten over the past couple weeks, this one might be my favorite. I have to make myself not pull for it because I do want you guys to see how these other palettes look and the combinations you can create, but really this is the one I want to pull for because it has everything I need. Like, it has the neutrals in there, but then it has some shimmers. You can get an everyday wearable look for work, but you can also get something dramatic or date night with it. The formula is excellent. It's just endless what you can do with this palette. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love the variety, especially. The other palette I have is a fun palette. Now, this one is from Pat McGrath. I picked this up during the last Sephora sale, and this is the Mothership 5 palette. So if you know anything about Pat McGrath eyeshadows, they're phenomenal. Very, very good quality, and this is what the color story looks like. I've only used this like a couple of times, so I definitely want to play around with this, specifically this shade right here. 2 more products and we're done with the tray. So next is a single shadow, and it's like a cream type shadow. Now, I picked this up when I was in New York from Blue Mercury, and this is from a brand called Surratt, which I had been wanting to try. So this is my first product from the brand. It's the Souffle eyeshadow in the shade Gris Dough, and it's a very beautiful metallic shade, and this is also a shade that I think could be everyday wearable. It's very unique in that it's like a jelly-like texture, feels like jelly, which I've never felt an eyeshadow like that before. It even comes off in like little jelly chunks. So you see, I don't know if you can see those little particles on there, but when you smooth it on, it sort of bursts. And look at that. Gorgeous. Last on the tray is another Hung Van Gogh product, and this is a lipstick. This one's in the shade Award Winner. Love the packaging of this. It's magnetic. I love a magnetic lipstick. And look at that, a beautiful berry shade, which I feel like is perfect for like fall, winter. So pretty. And these are matte, but they're not like drying matte. They still feel like smooth on the lip. And they're not super long wearing. They're not the most long wearing I've had, but they're decent long wear, just like your average lipstick would be. When you apply it on, you just know something's different. And most people, when they try his lipsticks, they're like, ooh, it just feels like very luxurious on the lip. But the shade is why I want this on the tray. Like, I want to pair this with like a vampy look from the Natasha palette for sure. So I'm excited to get in some makeup this month. Every time the Sephora sale rolls around, I'll get like re-inspired to like create some really beautiful looks, and that's just how I'm feeling. It might be like fall, because fall and is here, and the holidays, I really get more inspired just in general. So you guys be on the lookout for the next makeup tutorial. We're going to do something really beautiful. So hopefully you guys are going to pick up your brushes, pick up some of the makeup in your collection, and play in some looks as well. So everything I mentioned in today's video, I'll have linked right there on the YouTube shopping tab, or either down in the description box. So be sure to check that out. And if you're new here, welcome. I'd love for you to come join the family by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.